So earlier in the morning, we had Meghan Markle clapping back because she doesn't know what a recession is. So she had to go into the press and use her whole victim thing and play the woman card and toxic feminist card. And now we have Harry basically doing the same thing. And well, not toxic feminist because we do know he's a bitch, but he's basically clapping back to what everybody is saying about him because just as well, Harry doesn't have a job, so he watches everything that everyone is saying about him on social media and in the press. And here he is saying that it's not hypocritical for him to go to Ukraine after claiming or bitching, complaining about his security for the last 2 days in court. Okay, that's fine. I have to say, do I think this is more hypocritical? I think this is more corruption. That's what I think. I think Harry went over there for some type of corruption talk. I don't think he went over there for no Invictus Games for the warriors and the wounded veterans. No, he went over there for something that we don't know about. He went over there for something that was behind closed doors. And the Invictus Games Ukraine team, it was just a cover for whatever he was doing. And that's the way that I think these two people work. We've already seen the corruption with U.S. aid. All right, 51 million to Centibale in 5 years. Come on. What the hell does a charity need? A non-profit. Let's not forget that. A not-for-profit charity. What do they need $51 million for in 5 years? And then also we do know, we just don't have any concrete numbers on that USAID has given money to the Invictus Games Foundation. Now, when we find that out, we will report on it. But when you have this kind of thing with Harry where he does this, I think it's more about corruption and the whole Ukraine Invictus Games team. That's the cover. Right? That's what I really feel. So Harry's spokesperson has to come out and claim that it's simply incorrect to suggest that the Ukraine trip is hypocritical, even though it clearly is. And this is what we're talking about with these clapbacks of these people. Why do they only clap back at the things that piss them off in the press? Because you can tell that's what it is. Why? Because, you know, with Meghan really thinks she's a finance expert. She's watching CNN. She's watching MSNBC. She thinks she knows what's going on in the economy. But in reality, she's just a bored, rich housewife. Okay, same thing with Harry. He just looks in the press and he wants to see what they're saying. Everyone's calling him a hypocrite. So then, a spokesman for the Duke of Sussex, douchebag, declined to comment. Okay, but a source close to Harry, right? So, and this is the problem that I have. Why doesn't Harry just come out and say it? Because he doesn't have any balls. They're in Meghan's purse. So the source close to Harry, which is Harry, goes on, the Ukraine trip does not undermine his high court case. It does. It absolutely does. Because you're having someone that thinks that they can go to the UK and cry about security, but then they're literally going to leave the UK and then unannounced go to a war-torn country. But then when everyone calls him out about it, it pisses him off and he has to go and bitch to the media.